Singapore Stock Exchange or potentially on the Thai stock market by about 2024, 2025. The market capitalization targeted for the IPO will be towards $1 billion. They have three historic businesses in consumer good trading and distribution, in fuel, and in trucking logistics. That historic business is fairly small. Their revenues are between $100 and $200 million, EBITDA towards $10 million per annum. But they're on the threshold of a major expansion. They've just commissioned a logistics port in Vientiane, the capital of Laos, with support from the IFC. So the IFC's provided project finance of just over $60 million. And that logistics port is beautifully positioned at the bottom of the Kunming-Vientiane high-speed railway and at the top of the Thai railway and logistics system. So it's really at the crossroads. And what is really going to transform this company is that they're now going to build a railway between Vientiane and a deep sea port in Vietnam. So this deep sea port in the north of Vietnam will be owned by the Lao government and by our client. It was actually promised to the Lao people by Ho Chi Minh himself for the help that the Lao people gave to him during the war with the Americans. So this is a promise which has been made to the Lao people for some time. This will effectively give Laos and the greater Mekong region around it its own deep sea port about 500 kilometers from Vientiane. So our job is to raise capital for all of their projects as well as for the company. The railway itself will cost $5 billion, so we need to secure equity partners and project finance for that. But the pitch here is for a pre-IPO equity investor, order of magnitude between $75 and $100 billion for 20-25% equity position in the company, and with the promise of an IPO within 3 years' time at a valuation, as I say, towards $1 billion. So by the time they IPO, they'll have cash flows from the deep sea port business, their cash flows from their dry port business in Vientiane will be significantly higher, and of course the cash flows from the railway business will be huge. So by about 2030, their EBITDA should be $250 million a year or thereabouts. So the pitch is $75 to $100 million pre-IPO positioning the equity of the holding company. So the owner of this company is one of the Prime Minister, the Lao Prime Minister's advisors. The Lao government is giving them a lot of opportunities throughout the infrastructure sector. We're also developing a bullion bank for the Lao government. So a lot of different aspects to this client.